Hi everyone, I'm going to be demonstrating how to create the silicone sheet prosthetics I use within this makeup. This process works for any open negative silicone moulds. You will need parts A and B of silicone, deadener, IPA or acetone, cap plastic encapsulate, Vaseline, brushes, a silicone mould, metal scraper tool, and scales. The first step is to apply a release to make sure the silicone does not stick to the mould, since silicone sticks to itself easily. I find Vaseline works best for this. I'm applying this to all areas including the edges. Then mix up a small amount of cap plastic with either IPA or acetone to thin down the consistency. The same product will be used later once the prosthetics have been applied to blend the edges. For example, Superbaldiez works with IPA and Baldiez works with acetone. You can apply 2 to 3 layers of this, letting each one dry in between. You can either airbrush this on or brush it on with a paintbrush like I'm doing, which I find easier. Next, weigh out the silicone. I use 30 grams each of A and B with 25 grams of deadener. If I wanted the pieces to look more like skin, I would add more deadener to soften them. Up to 200% of deadener can be added to the combined weight of A and B. I added some skin-coloured pigment and flocking before pouring both the A and B into the deadener and mixing these together thoroughly before pouring the mixture onto the moulds. I'm using the metal scraper tool to remove any excess, which will create thin edges that blend into the skin. I filled the edges with the leftover silicone to create flashing, which will help the pieces hold their structure and keep the edges flat. I'm using a cotton bud to make sure that there is no silicone that will prevent the cap plastic from being dissolved once the prosthetics are applied. The silicone should begin to cure and thicken quite quickly. Here I'm adding a little bit more IPA to the cap plastic to thin it down, and I'm applying another layer to encapsulate the cured pieces. Once this layer is dry, you can coat the pieces with powder to prevent the edges from sticking together. I'm using a sharp sculpting tool to lift up the flashing around the edges. I'm taking my time with this so I don't damage the piece, and I'm gently peeling back the piece from one side and powdering underneath. Once the piece was out, I repeated the process to the other one. I coloured the pieces with a combination of alcohol paints, acrylic paints and multi-chrome gels. I'll leave more in-depth information about the process and products in the description below. Thank you for watching and I hope this was helpful.